Hola, bonjour, osio, ski, ni hao, whatever you want to say, howdy. Video number two on texturing our slabs for our tumbler slash mug with texture. Just so you're clear, you're gonna make a tumbler at home, you're gonna make a mug in the studio. Why? Because I kind of want to be there when we put handles on. I've got a particular way I want your handles to be put on your mugs, purely for comfort and aesthetics. So let's start talking about how we're going to texture our slab to create texture for our mug and our tumbler. We have three basic ways we're going to texture our clay. We're going to discuss these today. One is use of stamps. Two, stamp pads. And three, applique. Applique. Yeah, there we go. Applique. Those are the three ways we're going to create texture on our pieces. You don't have to use all three. You can, but you don't have to. All I'm requiring is that you have texture on the walls and on the bottom of your tumbler or mug. That texture on the bottom could be exposed on the exterior, or it could be on the inside. So when you take a drink, you can look inside your mug and see a little texture inside the bottom of your drinking vessel. So let's talk about what we have available for us in the studio right now. We have stamp pads. The stamp pads are as follows: cobblestone, cursive Japanese, large fish scale, bamboo that'll be a raised surface, bamboo that'll be a dented surface, small fish scales, a brick wall, wood grain, and a basket weave. Now, let's talk about some of these real quick. Basket weave, not one of my favorites. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever used the basket weave for a tumbler with texture, or for texture for anything for that matters. I did have one student one year who was a hot air balloon pilot, and he did this and made his look like a hot air balloon. So pretty cool if that's what you're into. The other is wood grain. Now we could go real rustic with wood grain, or I've had guys who are big basketball fans texture their slab with a wood grain and then carve in individual plank floors, stamp a K in the middle of it, or a U of L logo in the middle of it, and make their favorite college or professional basketball team and make it look like a basketball court. Groovy if you want to do that. Brick wall. Brick walls are always fun. We could do all kinds of things with the brick wall. We could make it, put a window on it and make it look like it's the side of our house. We could make it look like the side of a building. And if you're someone who does any type of graffiti work, you could use this to make it look like a wall and then come back with underglazes and paint a tag on the side of the piece there. That could be pretty fun. Fish scale, lots of things you can do with fish scale. I had a guy one year, it was probably one of my favorites. He made his look like a bass. So when he took a drink out of it, he put his mouth like he was kissing a bass and had this texture on it. When he glazed it so it was green, fading to yellow, fading to white on the belly, so it was glazed out like a bass also. And he made a mug out of it, and he made a fish hook for the handle. So fun stuff you can do. If you're a big fisherman, that's a way to do it. If you're into foliage, you could use either one of these bamboo pieces. Large fish scale, same thing. You could do the fish design on there. Cursive Japanese, yeah. Cobblestone. Cobblestone's great texture. When you see this rolled out, you're gonna go, yeah, that's pretty cool. You know why? Because that's pretty cool. It looks good, and I can show you some glazing techniques to make it look like a cobblestone sidewalk or cobblestone wall also. We also have this large assortment of small texture pieces. They all have different designs on them. You can lay them down and press them into your clay. I am going to demo how to use these things in a few minutes. I just want you to see what's available right now. The rolling pin is nice too. I could just roll that across there and get the texture from the rolling pin on it. We have all of these rollers of different designs. We could roll designs on our pieces. We have this roller that has small rollers in it and replaceable pieces. So I could roll continuous designs on with this device also. We have this roller also that has replaceable rollers on it. There are about 5 different designs that you can put on that come in here. So you could put different designs and roll them onto your piece. So these are all texture pads and rolling stamp pads. Now we also have all these wood design pieces here. That all of these have stamps on both sides, so I could get a multiple design in there. Some of the guys on your pinch pot bowl, when you put a slab foot ring on them, some of you all use these stamps to put designs in your foot ring. Great idea, and they look fabulous. We also have this container that has rubber stamps on it with some pretty abstract designs in it. A sun, some abstract animals in them. Pretty cool stuff. Letters. We have letters and numbers from 1 inch, 5/8 inch, 1/2 inch in letters and numbers. So you could use these to put your favorite biblical verse on there. You can stamp in John 3:16 and then handwrite the verse itself, or just put John 3:16 on there. And like I've said 100 times, guys, we're in the season right now, in the semester, we're in the fall semester, that everything's going to be ready by Christmas. So if you want to make some fabulous Christmas presents for mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, aunties, uncles, fabulous. Go for it. Find out what they like and do something that means something to them. As a parent, I'm telling you, it means a whole lot more to a parent for you to think about them and build something for them versus going to Walgreens, getting a $5 trinket and say, here, I love you, kinda. You know, this kind of says, yeah, man, I love you, Mom. And you get some good brownie points too. So, great idea. Never make anything for your girlfriend. Why? Because you're a teenage boy. You're gonna do something stupid and she's gonna throw it at you. Don't arm her with a hard piece of clay to throw at you, all right? Make them for people who will love you unconditionally. Mom, dad, grandma, grandpa. You can do all kinds of stupid stuff. They're still gonna love you. Your girlfriend, not so much. Letters and numbers, great. We have tons of handmade bisque stamps also. Most of these were made by Miss Jaffe. There's just a couple in here that I did. I like using found objects a whole lot to make my textures. But all kinds of cool stuff in here that you can stamp on your design. You just have to rummage through. Most of them are going to be abstract designs, but there is like fleur-de-lis in here. There is a U of K and a U of L stamp in here. So you can rummage through here to see anything cool you want to put on your pieces with those bisque stamps. There is also another technique that we talked about called applique. Applique means just that, to apply. We're going to apply a piece of clay onto our preformed cylinder. This is the only time you're going to do it different. And I know I'm backtracking, going back and forth, but listen to me. When I'm making this piece, if I'm adding texture, I'm going to texture the slab before I cut out the shape. What shape are we cutting out? It's going to be a 6x9 for our tumbler. If you're making a mug, I'm going to give you a little bit more freedom on that. I will talk about that in class as to not confuse you, because you're making the mug in the studio, not at home. So, applique, to apply a piece of clay to it. We have these fun little stamps. There's a frog there, a dragonfly, a turtle, and there's the Chinese writings here to say love, double happiness, good luck, and long life. You could press your clay in there, pop it out, and applique it onto your piece. If you're a big football guy, we cast this off of a football, so you could press the clay in there, pull this off, and applique it on. And when you're holding your tumbler, you could hold it like you're holding a football and have the threads going vertical on the piece. We also have a soda pop can lid. I had a guy one year do this, and this was the bottom of his piece. So when you were looking in his tumbler, it looked like you were looking at the lid of a soda pop can. I thought that was pretty funny. And then we did this off a guy's belt buckle. It's a skull and crossbones. So you want to go pirate theme or something, you got a nice skull and crossbones there to work on. All right, so those are the type of textures that you can put on. I want to kind of do a little demo on those so you can see how they work. And to do that, I've got to go run get my slab of clay, and I'll be right back. I'm back. Did you miss me? This is our template for our tumbler, 6x9. This would also be the template for your mug if you want to do your mug that size. We could also use these templates for a cup or mug. So a little shorter, a little taller version of a mug. And what that's going to look like when we put it together, you're going to have a mug that can either be smaller at the bottom and taller at the top, or you can turn it like this and have it bigger at the bottom and smaller at the top. Your choice. I've made them both ways. My wife likes them like this. I like them like this. We still love each other though, so it's okay. All right. How to use the different stamps. You'll notice I have white clay out here also. We used red clay for our bowls, so I thought we'd go ahead and use white clay for the next project. Now, is this going to be big enough? Maybe not. We'll make it work, all right? First thing you want to do when you get your slab is red rubber ribbon. We want to get it smooth. Smooth. And the best way to get it smooth is to drag your red rubber rib across it. Sorry for not having all my stuff here. I thought I prepped everything up, but I obviously left a couple things out. So I'm going to use my red rubber rib. I'm going to smooth out the sides here. I don't want to see the texture from the canvas on the slab roller. And for those of you who say, oh, that's the texture I want. No. Unless you're making it look like a pair of blue jeans, no, we're not doing that as our texture. Every time I make a video, the bells go off. Even when we're not in school. All right, so I've got it textured there. I told you earlier that the cobblestone was pretty cool. Let's show you how it works, all right? I'm gonna lay the cobblestone on my clay. I'm gonna get the rolling pin and I'm going to push down on this and roll it one time. I cannot go back and forth. If I do this, I'm gonna stretch the clay and I'm gonna double print, and I'm not gonna get that crisp, clean design that you want and that I want you to have. I know myself. If you double it like that, I'll take points off. So don't do it, all right? Here we go. Down and just push one time through. And when I peel this off, I'm gonna have a really cool texture of cobblestone. Ooh, ah. So there's cobblestone. That's how I'm going to use that. Let's get another slab out. Let's talk about another texture tool. So stamp pads. You saw how to use stamp pads. Step 1, red rubber ribbon. Got some fingerprints there, or finger dents. I'm hoping I can work around that. Smooth. Now, there's only about 1,000 ways to do this, maybe 1,003, I could be wrong. If I'm really particular, OCD, I'm going to lay this down on my pad, press around the edges, and because this is matte board and has some thickness to it, when I press that down, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I can see the edges, I can see where it's at. That way now I know where my design can lay out. So if I'm going to stamp John 3:16 on here and do a nice biblical verse and give it to my grandmother for Christmas, it's a great idea to do. I could do all that from here. I know where to lay things out. If I'm going to do a design on it, I know where I can lay my design out now because I have this traced out a little bit. So you could use these stamp pads like this and just lay different ones on here and roll it and have full texture on there. I could come in with a stamp, all the different bisque stamps that I'm looking at here. I could come out with any of the rolling stamps. I like the wooden stamps. I've had good success with those, getting some pretty cool designs out of them. So some of you all saw me play with these on the last project. So let's play with this one, this cool triangle. It's got a different design on both sides. I know where my bottom's gonna be. So I'm gonna lay this down and just start stamping designs. When I use a stamp, I normally press it down and I go north, south, east, west to make sure I get a good design. And if I just press straight down, the edges may not print. If I don't put even pressure, I may not get the design real well. So again, I press and I go north, south, east, west to make sure I get a good design on it. So now I've got a cool little texture here. Now, you could do a million things. I know I said 1,003 earlier, but it really could be a million. I don't know. I've not counted them yet. But what does that look like from a distance? Doesn't that look like pine trees? Wow. You can now do something and make this look like a pine tree, a big forest or something. It all depends on what you're into. Again, you're not making anything to make me happy. I've got a cupboard full of these things, all right? I do it all the time. It's what I do. So I want you to make something that you like, something that you enjoy, something that you want, all right? So stamp designs on there. We're in class, all right. So I could come in now and do a stamp in between there. I could get the smaller triangle stamp and put designs in here across. It's really limitless. Now we're limitless. We went from 1,000 to 1,003 to a million, now infinity.